Before we dive in, here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
Hey, psst. Hey, you see that Snickers over there? If no one's looking, you should just take it.
No! Don't listen to him, my son. That would be stealing, and stealing is a sin.
Sin Schmin, it's a friggin' Snickers bar. You deserve to have it. Sinning really satisfies you.
Repent, my child. Virtue is the only real snack worth savoring. For that candy bar is merely a gateway to nougat damnation. Has this ever happened to you?
Listening to the devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other, and you're not sure what to think?
Then we're here to help. I'm Pete Wright.
And I'm Tommy Metz III, and this season on All the Feelings, we're examining the 7 deadly sins.
You know, the fun ones.
And the 7 heavenly virtues.
Which are also a thing. Through personal stories, historical oddities, and way too much embarrassment, we take you on a thrilling journey through all the goods and the bads you hear about in church.
But without all that pesky church stuff. So come join us for All the Feelings Season 9, a sometimes funny podcast about being human. All the sins, all the virtues.
All in one place. Go to allthefeelings.fun to learn more, or subscribe to All the Feelings wherever you get your podcasts.
Game over.
Hey there, true believers. Andy Nelson here from the Marvel Movie Minute podcast with the rest of the team.
Pete Wright.
Kyle Olson.
Rob Cabasco.
And Matthew Fox.
This is the podcast where we dissect the Marvel Cinematic Universe 1 minute at a time, exploring every detail of this epic superhero franchise.
In our season looking at Iron Man 3, we're going to mix things up a bit.
That's right. Rob and I are your guides, but instead of our usual minute-by-minute format, we dive into 5 minutes of the film in each weekly episode.
It's a totally new approach, but one that still allows us to explore all the depth and detail that makes these movies so special, even if Iron Man 3 isn't all that special.
Hold on. That's where you're wrong. Extremist, Shane Black.
Yeah. Would you like to look at the Mandarin and Maya Hansen? Mm-hmm.
So whether you're a die-hard Marvel fan or just love deep dives into movies, there's something for everyone on Marvel Movie Minute.
Suit up and join us on this epic audio adventure. You can find us at truestory.fm or by searching Marvel Movie Minute on your favorite podcatcher.
Because in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, every minute is packed with excitement.
Enough said.
Coming up on The Devil's Details. God, the Devil and Bob. God, the Devil and Bob. God, the Devil, and Bob.
That sounded just like it.
It did, didn't it? Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Good morning, Star, and welcome to another episode of The Devil's Details, a show where we dig up, decipher, dissect, and deconstruct the many forms of the devil. One of my names is Lester Ryan Clark.
And I sometimes go by Keenan Diaz.
Yes, and we're just 2 lost souls hitchhiking down the highway to hell. And folks, this is our season finale here. We have already run out of The Devil and stories. Can you believe it? Barring The Devil in Miss Jones.
That's right.
That is the one we haven't done... yet. And so, for our finale, we thought we would continue with this animation kick that we've been on. We saw The Devil and story as an animated film with The Devil and Daniel Mouse. We saw it as a Halloween minisode with The Devil and Homer Simpson. And now, we're going to see how they can stretch it into an entire season of an animated show with God, the Devil, and Bob. Mm-hmm. You notice we got God in this one as well.
He gets top billing.
He does, all right? Now, I don't think I ever saw this or even knew about it when it was airing. How about you, Keenan?
I saw every episode when it aired in its original.
Really?
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Are you kidding me? It was adult animation. It was on NBC. It was 2000.
Yep.
I was a big Rosie O'Donnell fan, as I was telling you the other day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I watched a lot of TV.
Wait, Rosie O'Donnell's in this?
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying as an example. Lester and I saw each other in LA this weekend. And,
We did.
And we were talking about having to rush home to catch something on television because it wouldn't be replayable.
Back in the day, yeah.
Back in the day. And that was what I was doing as a cool junior in high school, was rushing back home in time to be sure I caught Rosie O'Donnell
There we go.
by 3 o'clock every day.
See, it was what was it? I think it was 6 o'clock for me. That was when the Simpsons back-to-back was on.
Oh, okay.
And that was it for me.
Yeah. Well, Bob the Devil and God, I could see all of it because
God, the Devil, and Bob.
What did I say?
You said the exact opposite.
I said the opposite?
You said Bob, the Devil, and God.
Oh, I was trying to think of what the opposite of Bob would be. I thought I said like the Devil, God, and Susan or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but God, the Devil, and Bob only aired for 4 episodes on NBC before they canceled it.
Oh, okay.
So I definitely saw all of those, and then I have not seen the subsequent episodes from episode 5 on until we started doing this. So I guess they aired on Adult Swim, but I never saw those.
Okay. I knew that they only made 1 season. I didn't know that it didn't even air for the full season.
Yeah, that's how TV used to be back then. If it wasn't happening, they would just pull it off the air. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Kids these days, they want their Rosie O'Donnell. And,
Right.
well, this kid specifically, he wants Rosie O'Donnell.
They love koosh balls. Yeah.
Oh my God,
with celebrities.
I just forgot about koosh ball.
Well, that's what Rosie O'Donnell was. She would throw koosh balls at the camera, and it felt like you were really there.
Oh, okay.
You don't know anything about Rosie O'Donnell.
I don't even know what koosh balls are, okay? No, of course I do.
No, but she had premium koosh balls that we could never afford.
Oh, okay.
And she had koosh ball launchers. From Koosh. She had things set up on her desk to be little catapults that she would shoot directly into the audience. Yeah.
This sounds like okay. Tell me if this is an accurate picture in my head. This is like Oprah Winfrey mixed with super sloppy double dare.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Absolutely.
That's
exactly
Rosie O'Donnell, folks.
That's Rosie O'Donnell.
Well, I know what I'm going to do after this episode.
What's that?
Buy some koosh balls. But yeah, actually, as for me, I think I saw a promo.
Sure.
Or maybe it was the making of that I rewatched again for this episode. It was like on TV at some point where the creators were talking about it, and I remember being excited because it's like the premise is right up my alley.
Right.
And then never seeing it and kind of just like wondering, and I even just forgot about the title of the show. I was like, wait, wasn't there a show about God and the devil and this guy named Bob? What was it called? And just I never saw it while it was airing.
Right. You kept Googling Bob, the God, and the devil, and
it just never came up. Right. Bob, God, the devil, and third guy. Protagonist. No, nothing would come up. Right. I came to this very late, and found it on YouTube, and which is that's kind of like where it lives now. And I remember I watched the whole season back when I discovered it, and this must have been like 10, maybe even like 15 years ago. Watched the whole season and just kind of forgot about it until rewatching it for this show.
Oh, great.
And maybe it's because we just got done watching how The Simpsons did this story, right? The devil and. But I cannot help but notice the differences. So that may have colored a lot of my my notes as we go through this thing. I'm going to try to focus on what I liked.
Yeah, I guess watching this back to back with the best scripted television show of all time.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfair. Yeah,
but all right, yeah, I get it. But this was primetime animation. They were trying to be The Simpsons. I mean, that's just what you were up against back then as well.
Yeah, for the longest time, I had this like weird Mandela effect. I thought that this was from the same people who made King of the Hill. And I would remember that false fact, and then I would think about like the character design and the animation and be like, oh yeah, you can kind of see it. But no, folks, you can't because that's wrong. And on this day today, I discovered where I misinterpreted that. Was I was watching the making of, and our guy Matthew Carlson said something to the tune of, with the recent success of King of the Hill, we thought the studios would be more open to this show, which I interpreted as he did King of the Hill, which he didn't. That was Mike Judge.
No, right.
But at like thinking that for like 15-something years, and then I would see like just a random picture of God, the Devil, and Bob. I was like, oh yeah, you can kind of see it. No, you can't see any of King of the Hill, Lester.
Right.
You're wrong. But no, let's talk about how this show came to be. This show was created by Matthew Carlson, who worked on shows like Malcolm in the Middle and The Wonder Years. And that you actually can kind of tell, and I'll get to that in a second. After the success of Malcolm, he created God, the Devil, and Bob. So I think he was a writer on the other shows, on Malcolm and Wonder Years. But this is like his baby, is God, the Devil, and Bob.
Yeah, and Linwood Boomer, who's the creator of Malcolm in the Middle, he's one of the producers here, along with Marcy, Karsey, and Tom Werner, who had a long career together.
Is that 3 people or 2 people?
Marcy Karsey is one person.
Okay.
Yes, she has a wonderful name.
Okay. Because just the way you listed it, it was like we were talking about Marcy, Karsey, and I've already forgotten the third one.
And Tom Warner. Sad Tom Warner. He's nowhere near as catchy as
He's
Marcy
never
Karsey.
included. Yeah.
Yeah, but they have Karsey Werner, and they did a whole bunch of things like, I don't know, Roseanne and Third Rock from the Sun, which all sorts of stuff like that. So.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the brainchild of Matthew Carlson. He says he had been like kicking this idea around in his head for a while as a lapsed Catholic who went to seminary school. Also inspired by Damn Yankees.
Yeah, which we could go into at some point. Yeah,
we definitely got to do. And the Oh God movies. And also the Warner Brothers cartoon where like the wolf and the sheepdog would like clock in and clock out every day. Together, and like them being they were adversaries while on the clock,
right?
But then friends when they got off of work.
Yeah, right? They're like morning Tom, morning Bob, and they go and fight each other, and then they clock out again. Yeah,
right. So he says that was something that really intrigued him, and I agree. Like I've always liked that trope. Right, of like, oh, it's our job, or like we're we're actors in a play, but then we stop, and we're like, we hang out backstage or something, right? Now, like we said, you might know that this only lasted 1 season. It was not picked up after that.
Right.
The creators blame this on criticism from religious listeners who thought the show was too irreverent, too disrespectful, even blasphemous, which maybe. I think it was a combination of things, though. I'll, certainly attribute part of it to that. But
yeah, but if it would have been a hit, it would have lasted. I mean, like there were people protesting Roseanne at the same time, and Roseanne was a mega hit.
Because it's too much like Rosie O'Donnell. No.
She's got half Rosie O'Donnell's name.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get into the show. What do we think of this pre-music intro? That's the first thing we see. We got God introducing himself. He takes the world and kind of like dribbles it like a basketball, twirls it on his finger, and basically gives us the concept of the show. He was all set to destroy the world, but he decided if just one pure soul could convince him it's worth saving, he would. And being a sporting deity, he let the devil choose. I like almost all of this intro. How about you?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it feels like it's added on later. Like people were like confused by it or something by the show without this. So it is, because we're gonna hear all of this again, just sort of played out dramatically. So yeah, I'm not sure why we need it, but it's helpful. I thought, okay, we're gonna have this intro and then we're just gonna go into the story and not see like the setup. We don't need the origin story of it, but
right.
So I don't know if we need it twice, but I do like this, and I like God being casual and talking directly to us.
Yeah, I don't know. It just. Like, it was enough to hook me. It was, I don't know, like maybe just kind of like the soft kind of like choir behind God and just kind of like this friendly, like, hi, I'm God, type thing. It was enough to be like, ooh, I'm interested. Like God has a defined character here, and this is interesting, right?
Yeah, it helps us with God. It helps us, I think, maybe even thinking of like the complaints people might have. It helps us see that we're on God's side. God's the cool one here.
Yes.
And God is nice, and he's going to be the grandfatherly figure, and he's going to really run the show.
Yeah. And yeah, like I said, I like almost all of this intro, but then he's like, folks, meet your
last chance for salvation.
Yeah. And spotlight on Bob Allman.
Get it? Do you get it?
Yeah. Bob Allman, yeah. And the joke here is that he starts to levitate, like spotlight goes on him, he starts to levitate, and the punchline of this is, wow, this is good beer. And I'm like, there was no other like joke for this instance?
Yeah, I mean, because it's going to turn out that Bob is he's a pretty rude dude, right? He's going to be beyond Homer Simpson, beyond any of the characters in King of the Hill, right? He watches porn, and he's pretty far out there. So I don't know, like, what could we have put here that's going to show him as a bad choice for God that would be, potentially off-putting for the first 30 seconds of the show? I
mean, for me, it's just like, okay, we're supposed to get that he's like, oh, this is our last chance. Like, this is, he's pitiful. But I don't know, just the mechanic, the logistics of he thinks the beer is making him hallucinate. Like, beer doesn't do that.
That's true.
That's the thing. It's like all of these jokes are like, almost there. You know, they have the beat, like the rhythm of a joke.
Yep.
He needed to say something else.
Oh, I see. I gotcha.
Like wow, something like like that would explain him levitating.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, my friends who do a lot of drugs and help teach me about drug culture and stuff, because I don't do any drugs, they pointed this out to me, like, I don't know, like 10, 15 years ago, that in movies they'll show marijuana making people hallucinate or, like, you know, trip out, and that's just all nonsense. That doesn't do that. And I was like, yeah. Every time I see it, like, yeah, you don't know shit about pot like I do. Who's never been on it. But.
And here we're going a step further, because everybody knows beer doesn't like make you like it's not acid, you know?
Right? Yeah.
And so that was my like this is because this is the hook. This is the thing that is supposed to pull you in, and all we need is like one like Homer Simpson type line, because that's what this is. That's what Bob is supposed to be.
Yes, he's supposed to be Homer Simpson for the 2000s.
Yes, and like what would Homer say when if he started levitating?
Right.
You know, I actually don't know. I can't think of.
He would burp.
Yeah. Right. Or it would just be, like this is your last chance at salvation. And you just, cut to Bob Ullman and he's like, I don't know, scratching his butt.
Right.
Right. Or something like that. No need for the levitating or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Right. But just something to show that he's like a less than likely hero.
Right.
What do you think of this design?
Well, he's definitely the weakest part of the human beings. Look kind of gross. They're not as fun as the god and devil designs and all the demons and all that. That's really strong stuff. And I think it's not quite like, capital R realist like King of the Hill is.
Right.
And then it's not at all like cartoony like The Simpsons. It's sort of this middle ground that just doesn't really work. And it's hard it's hard to look at that. It's hard to look at them. All the human characters.
Which is like the number one thing for a cartoon.
Yeah, trying to be edgy but also relatable, which is difficult.
He seems 2D, whichever angle you're looking at him from.
Right. Which is what The Simpsons do, right?
Yeah, but
that's a different cartoony world. And then the hills look like they're 3D whenever you're looking at them.
Yeah.
And this is like there are times, I'm not saying that you should never have an off-putting looking cartoon character like Ren and Stimpy or Duckman, which is adult animation at the same time. Like we're supposed to look at them and go like, ugh, these guys. And then this show wants us to look at them and like them. And that's so that's just sort of a mismatch between the characters here.
Yeah, yeah. He's got this like spindly neck and just like this weird angular head, and hair that's not. And I think the other thing is because like it might have been you or somebody else who told me about like the rule in animation about like the silhouette, right?
Being distinctive, yeah.
And it's supposed to be distinct. Like think of any cartoon character, folks, and just like black it out completely and just look at the silhouette. You can tell who it is.
Yeah, that's Matt Groening's rule. Yes, you can look at a silhouette and you can tell it's foghorn leghorn as opposed to the chicken hawk. Like you can tell them distinctly from each other. Or even like later when you'd be like, oh, in Taz's show, you could tell the difference between Taz and his father, even though they're both Tasmanian devils.
Yeah, I mean, like you could tell the difference in Rugrats between Phil and Lil.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Or Chip and Dale. Right. Yeah. But that was the one thing I unfortunately could not get behind was Bob Ullman.
Yeah, that's probably a big reason why the show didn't last. I think the human characters are just not conceived of very well.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so then that's all done. Is the pre-music intro, and then we get our music. What the hell is this, Keenan?
It's quick. That's what it is. Let's get on. Yeah, let's move on. Let's get out of here.
It is Casio keyboard 2000, and that's it. Yeah. No, I mean that's got to be another like kind of like animation rule, like to have a memorable kind of like something that you'll hum.
If you're going to have a theme song at all, yeah, definitely.
I mean,
yeah, well, that's right? Danny Elfman. I mean, this is high class people. Yeah.
I mean,
that's somebody else. I don't know who that is.
Oh, geez. Well, you know what that is, though.
I know what that is. I don't remember who composed the Flintstones. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like a sea shanty anyway. But not. Like whatever that is, right? And did you get like there is if you watch the entire season, there is one episode where it has lyrics.
Right.
And never again. And it's near the end, and it's just God, the devil, and Bob, and that's it.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, God, I'm such a freaking sourpuss. Okay. Then we get into the pilot, right? And we get God and the devil, and they're sort of out like on this friend date, looking at cars.
Yep.
So now, what do we think of these two? These other two titular characters, their designs, their relationship. What do we think?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of both of these guys. So God is James Gardner, right? And he has at the beginning of his grandfatherly era, and he sounds like that. He looks like Jerry Garcia, who even though as a kid who had never taken any acid, I knew who Jerry Garcia was. And, like he at that point was a well, I guess he had died at this point, but he was known as a grandpa, like Santa Claus, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you a single Grateful Dead song. I just don't know them. I don't know that culture. But yeah, like he is just like this happy paternal person, and God is like that. So he's just kind of chill, right? And he looks chill, and he has the beard. He wears sunglasses. We very rarely, if ever, see his eyes.
Yeah, like almost never.
Yeah. And he just like a jeans and sandal kind of guy, and he walks through. He's very peaceful. And if anything, but he's not a perfect character, which I think is one of the things I like about him. So he is oblivious sometimes, right? He's too chill. He
loses his temper sometimes.
He loses his temper sometimes. Yeah, exactly. So I like this depiction of God a whole lot. And he's like fascinated by the things that people get to have, like the brand name junk food and stuff like that. He likes that. He's fascinated by it. The one thing I had forgotten about the devil, because it's Alan Cumming, who I loved then and love now, and I thought it was his normal Scottish accent. But it's him doing a British accent, so he doesn't really sound like himself at all. I would have preferred if they were doing it again today, they'd probably ask him to do the British accent. But but I loved him ever since I saw him in GoldenEye, and I was like, I love Alan Cumming. He's just the best. So but so he's like, how would you describe him? That's a little bit harder. He's
I misremember this every time as him being in this kind of like sharp black suit, like in like opposition to God's kind of like t-shirt, sandals type deal. But it's not a suit,
right?
It's like he's got jeans and like a red orange shirt, and then this long black coat.
Yeah, he looks hipper for sure. So he's not like I misremembered him as being like Masters of the Universe, like Gordon Gekko, like power suit, but it's not like that. Yeah, he is more relaxed, but he looks more high fashion than the other two.
Yes, yeah, a little bit more conscientious of his image.
Yeah, I think that's right. He's trying to be cool wherever he's going. Yeah.
Yes. I believe Matthew Carlson described him as like a hipster type.
Oh, okay. Right.
Cool. Whatever that means in 2000.
Whatever that meant in 2000. So I was too young to really understand that. Yeah. But yeah, he's blonde, which is interesting. Not redheaded, as you might. As I misremembered, and he has tiny little black horns that are more like they're more like a fawn's horns, right? Like a satyr's horns.
Yeah, or like the type that you would buy like for Halloween, just like these cheap little things that come in a little baggie or whatever.
Yeah, but they're very small. They're not big and overbearing. Yeah.
No.
And he talks pretty fast. He's whiny. He's a little bit bitchier. But he is all of his evil is kind of like. When he appears on Earth, he doesn't appear like monstrous. He appears like just kind of a sitcom asshole. And then later on, like when we see him in hell, we're going to see that he has all the powers of hell we would expect.
Right. Yeah. So we get introduced to him in this way first.
Right. And they are, you're like they're like a friend day, like they're work friends. The devil and God, like. So this is a little bit closer to the Book of Job relationship. It seems like God and the devil work together. God doesn't want the devil to get his way, but he doesn't see him as like on the opposite sides of this ultimate battle between good and evil or something.
Right. Yeah. They're not enemies. They're not even like frenemies. They're like it's like they're clocking in and clocking out.
Right. Yeah. They're actual work friends. Yeah. Because here we see them going to this car show, and it's not for something at the office or anything. They're just going because they both have gone to Detroit because they both wanted to go.
Yeah. Right.
And with each other, and like they're waiting for each other to be there.
Right. Yeah. And you get the little kind of like intros, little jokes about get it because it's God, and get it because it's the devil. Because the devil on his way over to meeting him, he like pops a kid's balloon with his horn and everything. All right. And to that note, I think this show made me realize that I normally like, the little jokes where the punchline is, because it's the devil, get it, right? Or same thing with God. I like those, and even more, I like it when they subvert them. Like, there's a joke about the devil putting a koi pond in hell, right?
In hell to make it look nicer, like to make it look like it's headquarters, right? So it needs to look, worldly.
And that's one of like the first pilot jokes. Is like they meet up at the car show, and it's like, oh, so how's hell? It's like hell. It's a festering, pit of despair. Oh, but I put in a koi pond, right? And so I like both of these types of jokes, but this show kind of made me realize that you can't do that for a whole season of a show because it kind of wears thin, where like every joke with the devil is him being, connected with something we hate, like he invented hangnails, or the back of his bowling shirt says Microsoft at one point, right? You guys get it because it's a heartless corporation, right? Or sometimes it'll be something innocuous or unexpected, like the koi pond, right? It's like, oh, he's the Lord of all evil, but he has a koi pond, right? And I'm not knocking that. I like these jokes, and actually, I don't think you can not do these jokes when you're talking about God or the devil, because whatever normal human being thing they do, we're going to see that as a commentary, right? Like this isn't even in the show, but like if they're arguing over what kind of music to listen to in the car, like whatever the writers choose for God and the devil, we're going to take it as some sort of wink. Right? Like if the devil wants to listen to heavy metal and God wants to listen to the Carpenters, we'll be like, okay, that's, sort of on the nose, but then swap them around and still we're going to be like, oh, I get it, right? The devil liking the Carpenters and God being a metalhead, okay. So I can't knock them for that because I don't think there's a way to surprise us with God and the devil, right?
God would like the Carpenters. His son was a carpenter.
Right. He's looking down on creation. But so I think that is the problem with the show about God and the devil is like whatever God and the devil like or dislike is always going to be part of the joke, right? And I think the smart thing to do is to get away from that as fast as you can and focus on them as characters and their relationship with each other, which this show definitely does. And that is the other thing about this show. So the studio asked Matthew Carlson and his team if they couldn't do this as a live action sitcom. Right? But Matthew fought for it to be animated because he said they wanted to do stuff that you couldn't do live action, right? Like all the magic and the miracles and, and actually going to hell, et cetera, right? And I get that. But then like later on in this like making of special, right, which is also online, and I'll post a link, they sort of talk about how they're proud of the fact that their show is not like other conventional animation, right? Their characters have 5 fingers and they have a more complicated walk cycle and their expressions are more subtle, right? Like you would see in a live action show. But they were like proud of this. They were like no other animated show looks like ours. And I'm like, well, yeah. And it made me realize it's not just the animation, like the writing, the pacing, the comedy beats, right? All of it kind of screams live action sitcom.
Right. I don't know why King of the Hill works so well,
That's kind of like the proof that flies in my face.
Right, exactly. Because that's just so funny. Why is that a cartoon? I don't know. They never do anything cartoony in it.
It's less fantastical than God, the Devil, and Bob, but...
Yeah, one of my mentors once criticized, well, I guess I could say who it was because they're a big famous actor and they're going to be fine. So one of my professors said once, Dustin Hoffman is smaller than life. Which I disagree with.
My goodness.
But that's an interesting idea. Like, King of the Hill is smaller than life, and it should not work as a comedy. It should not work as a cartoon, but it does.
But it's so sincere about it, though.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, so this is trying to have it both ways is how I sort of see it. And but I do like all the God stuff, all the devil stuff. That works for me. Just the human being stuff. The and part. Yeah.
And I think like if it had veered into the lane of animation a little bit more, right? Like maybe a little squash and stretch, maybe a little hammer space that we talked about, right? It's almost like they chose animation simply because it would make it cheaper to do like the big stuff like the fire and brimstone and stuff like that, which definitely. But then they're not playing by animation rules, right? It's 3-camera sitcom rules. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which actually brings me to my favorite character, and I think yours as well would be Smeck.
Smeck, yeah, he's great.
Yes, he is a cartoon character.
Yes, he is. Yeah, so this is played by Jeff Doucette, and he's like a little goblin. He's a demon.
Yeah.
He's the devil's right hand demon.
Yeah, he's a little toady, right?
A little toady. Yeah, exactly. So he looks like a demon. He looks awful. He looks like a little guy who's there to torture you, like you might see in a comic strip or something.
He's got goat legs. He's kind of like a satyr type, thing.
Yeah. But he looks like he's slimy. Like if you touch him, you wouldn't like it.
Right.
He's got bumps and slime. Yeah. But he just has this nice little sweet voice, and he's just like such a team player, and like that seems to like both be what the devil needs. He needs someone who's like, sure, boss, whatever you want to do, I'll be doing it, right? But also like someone that the devil can resent, and maybe that's what the devil needs too. He needs someone who's there to just like, oh, all of your ideas are terrible, Smeck. What a terrible little toady you are. And yeah, he's the most cartoony, right? Like you were saying, he's kind of it's like when they were developing like American Dad, and they discover that for whatever reason they figure out that the alien who lives in the attic is the most interesting character. You know, it takes them like 2.5 seasons for them to do that, and they're like, oh yeah, because this guy can kind of do anything. And he can morph and he could like put on roles. He's like a Mrs. Doubtfire character.
Yes, yeah. He like, and that's part of the joke is that like, you know, whenever he goes up to Earth, he kind of has to pose as a human, and it's very like he's got these human sensibilities anyway, like even down there, right? And yeah, he starts out as like, you know, this personal assistant, this lackey who does the dirty work, but like also a shoulder to cry on, and a mother hen as these like. As him and the devil kind of like develop as characters, and he becomes like the Shmee to the devil's Captain Hook, right? And the jokes about them being sort of a couple are some of the best in the show, I think.
Yeah. Well, you know, when we were talking about Paradise Lost, we kept shipping, you know, Beelzebub and the devil because it's like who is the devil's friends, right? Who are the devil's friends? And like here you have that answer for you. So we're like, oh, the companion deer is Lucifer's friend, but here in this one, right? Like that is interesting. If like we're thinking about what's the work life of the devil like, right? Well, then who does he hang out with? Who you know? How does he make decisions? Like what's his relationship with management? And like we get through Smeck, we get like hints that there are departments in hell, and Smeck is like, oh, I have a party for you, but I've also got a party for the lady in accounting, right? Because it's more efficient to have them at the same time rather than have it two, and the devil just hates it so much, right? Like that stuff is very very interesting, really original, and you know, like becomes the heart of the devil's stories in a lot of these.
Right. Yeah, and the devil is interesting because he's got a couple relationships going on. He's got this budding relationship with Smeck, and he's got this unfulfilled or unfulfilling relationship with God. We kind of follow along as the show progresses. And, you know, at first it's like, oh, it's this adversarial thing. And it's like, oh, God, you know, he thinks he's so hot. Well, I'll show him. But then you kind of realize that he needs validation from God. He feels like he's being ignored.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was the same episode, The Devil's Birthday, where they kind of have this confrontation out back, like, you know, in Bob's backyard. Like he invites both of them, because they're not speaking to each other. And he invites both of them, like not telling the other one. And you get this very human interaction. It's like, oh, I didn't know he was showing up, right? And then they fight, and then you know it comes out that you know it's like, oh, it's never been the same since he threw me out of heaven, right? And Bob kind of gets them to talk this out, and I do like, you know, God's like, oh, he was my best angel, he was my brightest, you know, star. And it's like, well, you never told me that before, so I think he's telling you now, and you know they make up, and I was like, okay, all right. I like the idea that all of the devil's evil is kind of inspired by his need to impress or be validated by God,
right?
And it's like kind of like a father issue type thing,
right? Yeah. Here he doesn't see Bob as a brother figure. It's not a sibling rivalry like in Paradise Lost at all. But yeah, he's doing what God has told him to do, which we have found in some of the other, you know, pieces of literature. Like he's done exactly what God wants him to do, and then he feels punished for it. I think our God wouldn't see it that way. That the devil is being punished. Like the devil has a nice position and everything. Like what is it that the devil would want here in this version, right? But that's how the devil sees it.
Yeah. Now whose side are we on?
I like this devil. I want him to be happy. Mostly so that Smeck gets to be happy.
Yes. I think this devil needs to turn around and look and see that he's got a great toady, friend, partner, that he is not appreciating, even as he's bewailing the fact that he is not being appreciated by God.
Right.
I think it's the perfect thing. It's like how he treats Smeck is how he imagines he is being treated by God.
Right. Now, devil from this show that got canceled 25 years ago, listen up. When you point a finger to smite Smeck, notice that there are 3 fingers pointing back at you.
Yeah, and it's actually 3 because these characters have 5 fingers.
I had to think about that for a second, yeah.
Now, do you have a favorite episode that we watched?
Well, I have some ones that cover some interesting ground, right? So the pilot is you know, the basics of we have to judge the entire human race through Bob. So that's interesting. It's kind of a Star Wars Next Generation thing where that's what the pilot's about, and then it sort of hovers in the background of the rest of the show, where maybe that's still happening, but then we have these sort of side quests. And I'm less of a fan of the ones where God decides to like send Bob on a task to do something. Yeah, but there are some really interesting ones. There's some really like deep looks in theology in the episode where Bob's father dies.
Yes.
Which is a very, very late episode.
Mm-hmm,
so maybe they would have really gotten some places here. But so Bob's father is a terrible father, just objectively, right?
Yes, yeah.
And maybe Bob isn't the great son because he isn't forgiving of his father, and his wife and family want him to cool off and like be better to him. Like, so that's Donna, played by Laurie Metcalf, right? But Bob's father dies, and Bob is convinced that he's gone to hell, but he's not there because he's in heaven, and Bob cannot understand that, like how someone who hurt him so much could possibly be in heaven, and like unlike normal humans, he actually can talk to God and try to get a straight answer from it, but he only gets the same kind of rote answers that we always get of like, God works in mysterious ways and all that.
Yeah, that's the problem with having God as a character is he still can't actually give you answers.
Well, I don't think that God has answers for that kind of thing,
No, that was actually, I'm going to say like that was maybe one of my favorite episodes.
That's surprisingly deep, and like God is his friend, and like God can do favors for him, but he can't just fix Bob's trauma, right?
Right. Can't fix Bob's trauma, can't bring his father back from the dead,
right?
Can't give Bob a good reason why he's in heaven and not in hell.
Right.
It's like these are not that it's out of his hands, but it's something that Bob wouldn't it wouldn't serve him to know those things.
Yeah, like you've said sometimes in the show, it's beyond his ken, right? He just will not. If God were to explain it, he's not ready to understand it because he's a human being. He's not an immortal celestial whatever who might be able to understand it. Maybe.
Yeah. I do remember. Yeah, there was the last little bit of that episode. God kind of like explains it to him and says, that Bob's grandfather was an even more horrible person.
Yeah.
And that he says, but what you don't realize is the trick with this is to, every single time pass on a softer punch, which I don't know if that was like the best way to talk about, fixing, generational trauma, but maybe in 2000 that was like the best they could do. But
well, I mean that is the goal for. I mean, again, I don't want to lecture parents because I'm not a parent, but like that is the goal, is to leave the world better than you found it, right? And to leave things better for yourself, despite what boomers online will say,
right?
That it's not, you're supposed to leave it worse off to make millennials feel sad or something.
I don't know. I was just watching, there's this whole documentary on boomers and how life was easier for them and they want it to be harder for you.
You're right. That's backwards, I think. Right.
I didn't go to college and I bought a house when I was 15.
Right.
Why can't you? Well, gee, I don't know. Maybe because you and all of your friends fucked everything up.
Right. But it's also, back in my day, if I didn't call my boss sir, I'd get fired instantly. Well, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be today. Like, no, we fixed that. That's awful.
What's a student loan forgiveness? No, I don't have the capacity to be happy for you because I had horrible student loan. I walked 50. Our brother died of whooping cough.
I was gonna say our brother died from drinking from the hose, and that's the way we liked it.
And we said, "Thank you, God."
Yeah, but like God is judging him. God is judging Bob's father through some rubric that God could not possibly explain to Bob, and that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite episode or one that gets to some ideas about the devil or God?
Actually, no. That was it. That was my favorite. And specifically because of what happens right after that. So God disappears and his father shows up, kind of like in this ghosty form, and he's sitting at the bar, and Bob kind of like sidles up to him, sits next to him, and he said, like, they're both watching hockey, and they're not really looking at each other. They're both just watching the game, and you get that this is the closest that Bob can be, like to be like opening to be open with his father.
Yeah, and
he says, "Oh, Wayne Gretzky. It's like I saw him once at a game, and and our eyes met, and and then he passed by, and you never appreciate somebody until they're out of the game, and." I just wish that, at that moment I had told him how much he meant to me. And, he's talking about his dad. And without turning around, his dad says, "I think he knows." And then disappears. And that's one of those, like, I hate to keep comparing it, but like that's one of those Simpsons moments that just like gets you like in the gut, like punches you, and you're like, oh God, like this is a funny show, but like also there's these moments that talk about, you know, grief and loss and life and relationships, and that was one that like hit the nail on the head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just wonder with the show like this, like The Simpsons was not good in its first season and a half, and then
and I gotta stop. That is unfair because I'm comparing I'm comparing like later seasons to this show's first season.
Oh, but but you always just sort of wonder what might have happened with a show like this, which is a complicated high premise show, or like again, American Dad, which is I think genius. Didn't really figure it out until a couple seasons in, that kind of thing. But yeah, they might have gotten there. Some of the episodes where God is trying to learn through Bob what modern life is like is very interesting. Yeah. So like God comes down, he seems to never have had a Pop-Tart before or what have you. But there's one where he decides to pose as a new hire at the plant, at the auto plant, that I think is really interesting. And God seems to... He's a little oblivious, but he seems to expect that Bob's friends will have the kind of grace for him that he has for them as he's like messing things up at the plant. That I also find very, very fun of God like not being good at the plant and not being good at being a good friend and hanging out like one of the guys, and all of them resenting him, and God just not like, at least seemingly at first, and not be aware of what human beings think of him. Right,
kind of being oblivious. Like there's is this in the same episode where like he participates in the baseball game?
Yes,
and he's just a he's terrible.
So bad at it, yeah.
but it's in this like sweet kind of like grandpa, like he raises his gloves like, that one got away from me. That one did too.
Right, and he's like, well, it's just a game, and life is not about winning. Life is about being. And all of Bob's friends are just like, I want to fucking kill that guy. And Bob having to work as like a translator for God in some way and protect God, I think is super interesting.
Yeah. So the episodes are actually rated on IMDb.
Oh, yeah, by the fans. I didn't look at those, yeah.
Without looking yet, can you guess which one is number one?
Probably The Devil's Birthday.
No. Actually, let me see. Okay. Where is that? Oh, that's number 5.
Oh, geez, number 5. All right, what's the best episode?
I don't know if I agree with this. God's Girlfriend.
With my favorite, Liz Taylor, playing God's on again, off again girlfriend. Sarah.
Oh, okay.
She looks like Liz Taylor. She's designed to look like her.
Well, there we go. Yeah. So that everybody liked that one. And then right below that is Bob's Father, which I would put as number 1. And then actually between that and Devil's Birthday.
Okay.
Yeah. But then you got The Date from Hell, God's Favorite, Bob Gets Committed. And then all the way down at the bottom, and this is the one where like I watched and I didn't have I had no notes, but like in a way of like not in a like, oh, this is great, no notes, right? I couldn't think of it. Is There's Too Much Sex on TV.
Right, that's one where God dispatches Bob to fix TV's smut problem.
Yeah.
But some of those other ones, just really quickly. So God's Favorite is about Bob assuming, because he almost dies in an accident on the line at the automotive plant and survives, he assumes that God is looking out for him, and he starts acting. And I think we're supposed to kind of guess that it's not, that he just has this luck, and he thinks that he's God's chosen prophet, and so he can do whatever he wants. And that's super interesting. And then Bob Gets Committed. I think that's an interesting episode as well. Like, so Bob as a prophet trying to convince people, he's supposed to keep it a secret, but then he kind of lets it slip, and then he gets put in a mental institution, which is probably exactly what would happen. I mean, that clearly happens to a lot of people who believe that they are prophets today. But that's anyone who were a legitimate prophet would probably end up in treatment and getting like antipsychotic drugs. Yeah,
right. They would definitely have to face that hurdle of nobody believing them.
No one believing them. Yeah, right. Yeah, that was super fun. And there's a bunch of like cool, fun side characters who live in the mental institution with them.
Very One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest type characters. And there were some good gags that like one of the patients seems to be a doctor until like the orderlies come by and it's like all right, give me give me your coat and the clipboard and the So I like that. I also liked it's kind of down on the list. It's number 10, but I liked Bob Gets Involved. And so this is Donna is playing. She's in Arsenic and Old Lace. She's
right.
She's one of the cast members.
Yeah, one of the old ladies who kills people in the play. Yeah.
Right. with arsenic. But like this episode seems to be about how Bob is not paying attention to his family. And he's not present for them. And at one point, I think somebody wrote like the F word on Andy's lunchbox. And so this kind of like inspires Bob to like go on this whole I don't know what you would call it. Like he gets involved in like all of these charities, and he gets this group together and starts trying to like do good works and everything like that, and all the while like he's not paying attention to Andy or his daughter or his wife who's working very, very hard on this play. And by the end we find out, and like Andy's doing like worse and worse things, like he's smashing trophies and stuff like that, and it comes to a head when like now Bob's group is trying to like shut down this production of Arsenic and Old Legs because
it's about murder.
Because it's about murder. And then you find out that Andy's the one who wrote the F word on his lunchbox because he was trying to get his dad's attention.
Right.
And that's how it kind of like comes to an end. Is Bob realizes that he's like not been there for his family.
That's a little bit like Everything Everywhere All at Once we were just talking about. On our other show, Every Minute of Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes.
Yeah, but that is where Bob the Devil and God ends. And we didn't talk a whole lot about the human characters, even though, again, this is really strong voice talent, right? It's like French Stewart as Bob Allman, Laurie Metcalf as his wife, and then Nancy Cartwright and Kath Soucie as the children.
So that's Bart Simpson playing Megan, the daughter.
Right.
And Phil and Lil amongst many, many other things. Kath Soucie playing Andy.
Yeah. But they just hadn't figured those characters out by the time that they got canceled. Or maybe the concept is just not workable.
I want to give the actors like all the credit. I think this was a case of like this is the first season, and we're still getting our bearings because like Stewie, Family Guy season 1 is very different from Stewie,
right?
Season I don't know whatever season they're on now.
100 I think.
Oh yeah,
I think it's their 100th episode.
And the same thing with Bart, and the same thing with Lisa. Lisa, I mean, we can go back into the whole like Flanderization thing, right? But like they all kind of they find their niches, and I think this was them kind of like feeling those characters out of Megan, of Andy, of Bob and the Devil and God.
Right.
Hey, that's that show.
So I think that this fits within the canon of our Devil and episodes really well.
Yeah.
I would have been interested to see how the rest of it went. I mean, I did see that James Gardner wrote in his memoirs about his whole career that he had a really fun time playing God, and that he would have liked to have continued on with it. Yeah,
I would have liked to see how this show played out. I think I was a little bit salty in the start of this episode, but no, this is something I would definitely follow. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, who knows? Like anything's possible. Maybe we'll get a miracle and we'll get season 2.
Right.
But yeah, really good ending to our Devil and season. And I think folks, we're going to take a little bit of a break again just to get prepared. I don't know if it's going to be as long as like we said 1 month and it became 3 months last time. But we'll keep you posted on Discord and our Facebook group, just so you know like when we're coming back. We're definitely coming back, and next season is going to be all about the apocalypse because of course it is. Very apt. Yeah, and we're going to be talking all about the Book of Revelation. Yeah.
So that's stuff like the Antichrist and the Mark of the Beast and what's going to happen to you and your family really, really shortly, everybody.
Yes.
Like I trust this really, really like anytime.
Yeah, we like talked before on this show about how everybody thinks that they're going to be alive when the apocalypse happens and don't they realize that that's not going to be the case? Well, congratulations, everybody. looks like we're the ones.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun. It's about the end of days.
Yes. So check out our other shows. We're still going to be doing Every Minute of Everything Everywhere All at Once. Every week, there's not going to be a stop for that one until we finish the movie. So, yeah, and then we'll kick back in with what should we call
that's
the
a
new
good
season?
We don't have one yet. Yeah.
All right. We can't call it the end because there's going to be more after that. We still got to get to like Screw Tape Letters and Mark Twain and
we have tons of devil stuff, but we should just piggyback on something popular. I think that's always we should call it Avengers Endgame.
Sure. Let's do that. Hey, with Robert Downey Jr.
Who was supposed to be the devil originally on this
show.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Fun fact, everyone.
Fun fact.
he was going to be the devil, but then they got Alan Cumming.
God, Devil and Bob,
Yeah. Right. So yeah, folks, while you prepare for the apocalypse, we will be preparing notes for the biblical apocalypse. And we will be back in 40 days and 40 nights.
Yeah, that's a great time for a
that
break.
sounds about right. Yeah. But yeah, folks, until then, this has been The Devil and season of The Devil's Details. I've been Lester Ryan Clark. You can summon me in all the socials as Lester Ryan Clark.
And I've been Keenan Diaz, and you can invoke me on Instagram and Letterboxd as Howdy Keenan.
Yeah, we got our Facebook listener group, Banana for Scale. That's a community for all of our shows, including this one. It's a private group, but just request to join, and we'll let you into the Infernal family. If you want more, consider joining us at truestory.fm/join and look for Banana for Scale. That's us. You get bonus episodes of all our shows, access to our Discord, and you get your episodes a week early. Pretty cool, just $5. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? We're not even asking for your souls. Just give us a 5 pentagram rating on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to your shows. That and sharing the show by word of mouth or on social media helps our little podcast grow and find more cool people like you. All right, folks, until next time, love and hisses. Mwah.